Hello, everyone, and welcome to our channel. This is Caitlin and Daniel Rodriguez, aka Mr. and Mrs. LLC, and you guys in our very special series during this pandemic called "What Are They Doing?" Who are they?
So they is actually going to be our network. We're going to bring to you guys. These individuals are in various stages of being successful because a lot of times when you're trying to take that first step, that first leap in entrepreneurship or just whatever venture you're looking to do, you're in the first beginning stages.
Right.
And you're looking at someone who's far out there, all the way out there, like a late Kobe Bryant or a Michael Jordan or like a Bill Gates. And they just seem so far-fetched out there. But we forget about the middle stages, the people that are in the middle that are still learning and you can learn from as well. So we're going to bring those individuals to you. So stay tuned, get your questions ready because the episode's about to start now. So out of it, I feel like y'all gonna take the show over.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Just let us have our moment, please.
All right.
Yes. I mean, it just feels right. It's Friday night, ladies' night. This just feels right.
Ladies' night.
So see, y'all can see she is such a joy to be around. I swear, like this is gonna be super fun for you. So if you're just logging in, once again, this is our show. What are they doing? And we have Miss Bukky on the line. So we're just gonna talk a little bit about who Bukky is. So Bukky, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you. Tell us about who are you? What are you doing?
Who am I? Yes. So you guys, my name is Bukky Adesanya. I do go by Bukky for short. But no, I'm so want to say thank you guys for having me on the show. I feel honored to be a guest. Knowing you guys for so long, I think this is awesome what you guys are doing. So I am very pumped to be here. So who am I? I am out here living the dream.
Yeah, share yourself for the world.
I'm from Chicago, Illinois, actually the suburbs of Illinois. Ended up going to Purdue, which we have in common.
Yes.
Purdue in Indiana. I graduated in 2015 with a bachelor's of science in business management. And after that, I decided to kind of pursue a degree or career, I should say, in cybersecurity. And that led me to move down here to Atlanta, Georgia. So I've been in Atlanta for almost 5 years now. And it has been an experience for sure. I love it though. I really don't see myself anywhere else in this current moment. So I'm really glad that I'm here. I'm glad that I got connected with so much great people in my life. But yeah, that's a little bit about my background.
So tell us. We have pictures of, and we like to do some investigation.
I see you guys found some things.
So I like this big picture that we put on here with you and your siblings. Yeah. So you're a middle child, baby child.
I am. I am the middle child, one of two. There's two of us in the middle. So to the right, all the way on the right of the picture, that's my oldest brother. His name's Teo. He currently lives out in the Bay Area, Yay area. Hey. He also went to Purdue, so he's a Purdue grad, a boy of America, just like us.
Love it.
The young lady on my left is my younger sister, Lexley. She currently lives in DC. She's awesome. She's in that whole photography, videography, the arts, the curating, all of that good stuff. So she's like the talented one in the family. And then
there's one.
To the right of me is my brother Abe. Love him to death. He currently resides in Phoenix, Arizona, living his best life out there, working for Amazon. So we're all kind of spread out, which sucks. We're all in different states, but we make it work.
I can only imagine you guys getting all together with all that successfulness, all the different mindsets. You guys probably get some heated conversations, don't you?
Oh my goodness. It's funny because so just growing up, we were a strange bunch. So growing up, we all shared a bedroom, right? So growing up, we were, kind of part of that low income type household. And so my mom, oh my gosh, she did her best. She did everything that she could to give us what she had. If it was, a 99 to 1, she is giving us the 99 and trying to leave the 1% for herself. But she gave us everything that she could have that was on her plate. But growing up when you're in such a confined space like that for
Right.
17 years, you don't always get along the best. So growing
Really?
up, really. It was tough. I think I love my siblings, obviously, but when you're in that moment, it's hard. It's hard because you feel like no one relates to you. You feel like no one knows what's going on in your life. You're just a teenager trying to get through things, and you're angry all the time. So that was a lot of the experience growing up. But I will say, I think after, we've all left the house, it's a lot easier for us to come together as far as just like wanting to be in the same room, missing that part of you from when you were younger. So it's a different kind of dynamic now than it was back then. But yeah, those are my day ones.
So those are your day ones, and I like what you said something there. You said when you guys all started leaving the nest, right, and trying to find yourselves. That's kind of one of the reasons why we chose this second photo here in the bottom right corner with your other family, your sisters, right? And I wonder, did that whole family dynamic, and you say, you know what, I love, even though we got each other's nerves, I wanted that same family dynamic. Is that what kind of got you into the Greek life?
It's strange because, going into college, leaving high school, I didn't plan to be in a sorority. I didn't even, honestly, guys, I'm gonna be very serious. I didn't know like sororities and fraternities. I didn't even know like what it was, what they did. I knew maybe I'd watched, what's that movie? Stomp the Yard or
Stomp the Yard, there you go. All right, I'm gone.
That is to the extent of my, Greek knowledge.
Oh, bless your heart, man.
So I had no idea.
It was a surprise.
It was like okay, I'm on campus, I'm doing my thing, I'm a freshman, and I see, these deltas, they keep popping up. I'm like, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're all over the campus, and like everybody knows them. And then they were like extremely genuine people. And I remember I was actually friends with one of them, but I didn't know she was a Delta. She had just taken me under her wing, and we'd go out, she'd treat me to lunch and buy me things because I was broke and I was a freshman and she was a senior and she had money. But it wasn't until later when I found out she was a Delta, and she really just explained what it is that she does and how she does it. And I saw the way she interacted with her sisters and her family on campus, and it was like, man, I need that. Like I want that. And out of the blue, it became like the thing that I was most obsessed with. I was most like just focused on. I went into like tunnel vision, like I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna do this, because there, you have to meet requirements to be in a group like that. And I did everything in my power to make sure I had the best shot. So yeah.
I love it. So then how did that shape those years away from your sisters and brothers then?
Yeah. You know what is crazy? And I say this all the time. If it weren't for my line sisters, my sorority sisters, there are a lot of things in college I would not have been able to get through. They showed me literally so much love and so much of that family dynamic that I had been missing for so long, One thing, I'll just share a quick story.
Yes.
So back when I was graduating, so I was graduating from Purdue, and my brother was actually getting his secondary degree, his MBA from Arizona State University. So we were graduating in the same week. He was getting his MBA, I was getting my bachelor's. And his graduation fell on like a Monday, Tuesday for the official ceremony. And they had something called Black graduation, which is where they celebrate all of the, African-American students. And they give them their own kind of graduation ceremony as well. So that ceremony for him was on Thursday. Now, mind you, I'm at Purdue in Indiana. My graduation is on Friday. So I say, hey, Mom, like, you guys are going to be there Monday, Tuesday. That's cool. But make sure you hop on a flight, right after Tuesday so that you have enough time to get to Indiana, get settled, and make it for my graduation.
Right.
He was like, yeah, sure. But somehow, some way, my brother convinced them to stay until Thursday. I don't know why it was necessary for them to stay for that second graduation, only because it's like, they went to your main one, this is your MBA. It is a big deal, but I don't think it's as big a deal as a bachelor's. So I was like, why are y'all staying so long and cutting it that close, right?
Right.
So these people decided to go out Thursday evening, right? So they left the graduation and decided to go party in Scottsdale. long story short, everybody missed their flights the next day, and flights were booked, and everybody missed my graduation, my entire family. Now, that day for me was the worst. I was a wreck the entire day. I couldn't stop crying, but I remembered that, you know, I was with my line sisters the entire day. They were wiping my tears, doing my makeup, doing my hair, wiping my tears again. Like, they never left my side that entire day. And so I always, that's like one of my most favorite memories of them, is just, they were always there, like always there. And like, for that and everything that we went through to become Deltas, like, it has shaped so much of how I see our relationship. And it is really set the tone for relationships I want to have in my future as well. When it comes to just friends or people that I allow in my circle, like, you know, nothing will ever really top that, but that's what I always strive for. Like, having that sense of just closeness with people that have your back no matter what, by far, like,
right.
Love it.
So out of all those different experiences, what would you say was the biggest factor that helped you to be, I guess, successful now? And the reason why I'm asking that now is because we're in this pandemic, right? Uncharted territories. And you are able to be successful now. So what were some of the big factors?
Yeah, so I'll say a couple things. First and foremost was believing that I can be successful. I think for me, as a kid, I didn't really dream. Like, I didn't really have vision boards. I didn't really say, when I grow up, I want to be this. Like, I never did that. I don't know why. I think I was really just living in the moment, and, you know, things were tough growing up. So that's not really something you're thinking about.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, I've learned that belief has to come from me, right? If no one's pouring it into me, if I don't get it from somebody else, I've got to believe that I can do it, that I can be successful, that I can make that extra step, because no one else may not, you know what I mean? And so that's definitely one factor, is that it started with me. And then two, I think, is speaking things into the universe. So I'm very spiritual. I believe that, you know, your tongue holds lots of power. And I think this is something that I even forget now, but it's funny when I look back on, you know, some things that I write down, just some thoughts, some things that I'm grateful for, some things that I want. I'll look back on a list from like 5 years ago, and I'll be like, yo, check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark. Like, all of these things happened. And I forget sometimes that I have to speak these things and write these things out, because my tongue holds power. So I would say that's a huge part of being successful, is believing that you can and speaking it, because the rest is just you working hard and then the universe aligning. So.
Yeah. So I hear a lot of success habits. So those habits, like speaking to yourself, it's writing down. What are some other habits that you have to be successful?
So for me, and this is more so recent, I say in the last couple of years, I try and start my day, or at some time of the day, incorporate, you know, my prayers, my scriptures, and my devotionals. I don't know how the heck I was getting through life without doing that before, but recently I've taken a liking to just exploring and dedicating that time that I have with God. And for me, it's important. Like, it has to be part of me, because I don't know how I physically got through anything without taking that time. So that is a habit for me. I have to have it as part of my soul that's feeding my spirit. So definitely that. Two, I would say being obedient. This is a hard one, because
I don't think I've heard that before.
Yeah. It's hard, because, you know, as a kid, you know, you're told you're not supposed to do something, you do it anyway, right? And you know that you're wrong and you're doing it, but you do it just because.
It's fun.
Exactly. That carries with me. And so as an adult, I'm trying to, you know, be obedient to what God wants me to do, right? If he wants me to go down one path, like, it's like you can hear the thought at the back of your head, but you might not want to listen to it because it's not what you want to hear. But what I'm working on, especially this year, is being obedient to where he wants me to be. So right now I'm in this season of life where I'm just, you know, I'm single, I'm out here working hard. I want to put myself in the right position. And sometimes I get sidetracked and I focus on the wrong things. But I'm trying to be obedient to the season that he has me in right now. Yeah. And so that's a big thing. I think it's a daily kind of habit I have to build into myself to remember to be obedient to where I'm at. But I think ultimately it's gonna lead me to be where I'm supposed to be.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. So we're talking about success habits and just being obedient. And you mentioned again, like you're a single young woman and you're so successful. And Dan and I we're just so appreciative just to know you and to see you grow and to see you just be out there, that it really helps, you know, the ladies that are out there like, hey man, I can't do it, to hear your story. Let's talk, what are some things that you've had to go through that, you know, you had to make a hard decision?
So I'll say this, when making hard decisions, sometimes it's very easy to be influenced by people along the way. Influenced by their words, influenced by some of the things that they've done in the past themselves, influenced by their perception of who they think you should be.
Right.
So that for me is a huge battle when it comes to making decisions in general, whether it's, you know, decisions on buying a house, whether it's decisions on my career, whether it's decisions on my dreams and what I want to do, you know, with my life and being a business owner, all these things, like everyone has an opinion on it. And sometimes because you're comfortable, maybe it's, you know, with people that you've known for a long time or people that you trust, you want to value their opinion, but at the end of the day, you've got to make those tough decisions for you, right? And they're not always easy. You want to be considerate to people's feelings,
Right.
but at the end of the day, you know yourself the best, not the person sitting next to you, right? And so I think that's tough. Like, in case in point was my decision to buy a home, right? It wasn't something, and you guys know as homeowners before, like, it's a tough decision and it's hard. And it's like, when you're going through it, you're just like, Lord Jesus, can you send somebody to tell me what to do? Because I don't know. Like, and it's all these little things and these big things, and it's a process, but you have to trust your intuition. You have to trust your own gut. And so
Yeah, there was not a book on buying a house.
honey, and even if there was, I don't know if it would have been helpful for me, because I don't know. I'm a very, like, I feel things out, like things gotta feel good. And so it was tough, but I think just along the way, I've just been learning to not be as influenced by others, and more so be more reliant on my own gut, my own feelings. And I think that probably is a little bit easier for women, because we have that, you know, intuition. Not that guys don't, but you know,
Not so much.
We're a little bit.
Well, and that just speaks to your success too, that relying on there and being vulnerable to your feelings and what you feel is right in your life is what's made you so successful. I mean, Bukky, looking at you, like, you're super successful. And I think that some of those decisions along the way, though you thought it was other people, you still had your path in your head. And you've gotten to where you've gotten because you've put the work in. You've made the decision. So
yeah.
Awesome.
I have a question. I know he just wants to keep
bumping in our Friday night.
I'm a lone male on here. Anyone in the live, help me out, please.
Oh my gosh.
How about the decision of I chose this picture, or re-chose this picture of this, I don't know if you want to call it White Thunder, or I don't know what's her name to you, but you went from the college rust bucket to this.
Rust bucket.
No, here's the thing though, for everyone watching, and even my friends that may watch this back too, only the people closest to me know what I've been through with that car. Y'all know that car. Listen, when I got it, I said I was going to ride it till the wheels fell off. When I tell you that wheel fell off.
The wheel actually fell off. You can't tell, but the wheel is missing on one. It's still parked the same way it is right there, isn't it, Bukky?
He just wants your white car in the middle set up. He has his idea.
Right. Well, it's
oh
funny
my gosh,
because you know you're talking about making decisions and everything else. You are very successful. I mean, we've seen you successful.
We do.
But the thing is,
yeah.
when it comes to it, it's like you're like, well, what's she so successful in? What she do? Is it, you know, is it more of just managing what you have, or were you blessed in different areas? Like, what's the successful look like for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. So for me, Growing up, again, we didn't have a lot. And so I didn't really learn how to manage money until I got it. And I know that's a different story for a lot of people, because some people, you know, are fortunate enough to, their parents taught them about money, their parents taught them about finances. I didn't learn that for a long time. So after college, honestly, till I was exposed to people in my life like you guys, and some of our partners that are just have taught me everything that I know when it comes to just finances in general. But for me, the thing about success and getting to where I'm at, right? So growing up, I knew what it was like to be in that environment. It was tough, like, not to make everything about money, but people say, you know, money isn't everything, but money would have helped a lot of things in my household, right? And so when I'm growing up and when things couldn't go my way, like when I couldn't go to spend the day in Chicago, you know, with my friends because my mom couldn't afford to get me, you know, $20 for a train ticket and lunch and all that, or when I was in the 8th grade and I couldn't go with the other kids to the Washington, D.C. trip, like things like that, you know what I mean? I promised to myself, I said, I am going to work as hard as I am capable of to make sure that this is not my reality, right? And so for me, because that's all I knew, was, you know what, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna go pick a great school, and I'm gonna bust my butt to make great grades so I can get a great job, you know what I mean? And it was hard. I mean, y'all know Purdue is not an easy school to be at. No. But what it taught me is it taught me grind. It taught me hard work. It taught me to be relentless. And it taught me to go after what I had set out to do. So once I did that, you know, and I'm currently in that space where I'm working a 9 to 5, and, you know, I do like my job. I love how much I've learned in the last 5 years. It freaks me out sometimes how much I know in my space. And that I attribute to just being a student. I think there are a lot of people, and Katie, you probably know as well, that, you know, are in this 9 to 5 world and they just kind of, they do whatever. But once you really want to learn a craft, you have to be a student, you have to go after it. And so that's something that, you know, I attribute a lot of my success to is going the extra mile. But also it's surrounding myself with people who can like stretch my vision. So I think when I got into the realm of just surrounding myself with, you know, people who have their own business and people who are doing what, you know, they never thought that they can do or have always wanted to do, whatever it may be, I started to like, okay, I'm not limited to what's in this box. Like I can do a lot more. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so it started to stretch my vision of like, okay, well, I'm in this space now, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be in this space forever. You know, one day I do want to own my own business and run it full time and be even more successful than I am now, right? Right now, I feel like I'm just kind of in the weeds, I'm clawing, I'm getting through it, but that's not where I want to stay at. And I think as long as I have that mentality of like, okay, I'm here in this season now, but this isn't going to be my season in 5 to 10 years. You know what I mean? So,
okay, I want to interject real quick. We have a question from someone live. Sarah asked, or she said, I feel you on the money. No one taught me anything as a kid and early adult. What's been the best tool to help you learn?
Being around people that do know money. Listen, love my family to death. Love my mom, you know, my brother. But I needed to be around people outside of my family that could teach me what I didn't know. One of the things that I would say helped me get closer to my success was listening more to the people who are where I want to be at versus the people that have no plans of getting there or never have been there. And so once I started to surround myself with people who knew money, knew what to do with it, knew how to flip it, knew how to make it work for them, my mindset started to change. And that's what I kind of meant by my vision started to be, you know, it's stretched a bit more. So, and that's the thing, like, it's really, really hard, I think sometimes to find those people, but really what it is, I think you have to be more receptive. A lot of people are skeptical nowadays. A lot of people are, you know, afraid of being vulnerable and telling their story about where they may be financially or admitting that they need help, but you got to be willing to be out there so that you can learn it. And so that you're not, repeating the same cycle. If I were in the same place I was in 5 years ago, at that time I was living with my uncle. I didn't have to pay a mortgage. I was out here willy-nilly. I was out here just traveling every week.
In the black car, right?
It had no car note though. So I was really out here just spending bands. I never had money. I never knew how to manage it. It wasn't until I surrounded myself with people who taught me like, okay, you gotta move a little different, right?
Right.
So if there's anything I could say, it is put yourself around people who know money, right? And not just the people that you perceive to have money, but like the people that actually have it and know what to do with it. That's the biggest thing. And you guys are great examples of that. You guys have a network of individuals who you are continuously teaching about finances. Like that is what you do.
Right.
And I'm in that space now because I've been surrounded by people like you. And so now that I have the knowledge, it's like, I would be remiss if I didn't share it as well. Right. So that's the biggest thing.
So what was that moment? Like, I like that answer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure me and Katie are on the same page. Like for us, there was a certain moment where it just, it was enough. Like, I'm not going to take what I'm doing right now. And I just want to flip. Cause you said
exactly what I was going to ask.
Right. And like before.
There's a moment where reality is like you said stretch, but it's just like, whoa, it's stretch. And you're like, I'm not, this isn't what I want.
Yeah. I'm not the same anymore.
Yeah. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. Oh my gosh. I remember when I got obsessed with everything that we do, just that financial education, the financial literacy. I got obsessed with learning it. And I'll say it was around last year. I want to say this time, actually, April, May, when I really started to make some traction in just learning and educating people around me. There's a flip that is switched, right? And it's just, or a switch that's flipped. And everything changes. It's like, yo, there is so much knowledge out here that I was not privy to before I came into this environment, before I got exposed to this amount of people. And you're gonna know what that is because your passions start to change, your habits start to change. I remember there was a period of time where I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't sleeping because I was so like passionate about what I was doing. Like, and not to say I'm not now.
It had to feel good, right?
It was a different type of rejuvenating feeling. Like the last time I was that obsessed about anything was probably back in college when I was wanting to join Delta Sigma Theta. Like that was the last time that I was really obsessed with something. And that's when everything changed for me.
So how did you know that you were doing the right thing? So you said you brought up the sorority again, that you were in there and you're like, I was obsessed. And then you got with financial literacy and you're starting to be successful on your path. How did you know that was the right thing?
You know what? It took a while. I think when it really started to click is when the people in my circle who may not have listened to me when I first started, but eventually came around, they were now coming to me for advice. That to me is when, all right, mama, I done made it. I'm that person in the circle, I'm that person in the friend group where if they have a question on X, Y, and Z, they're coming to me. And I think for some reason that validation, I don't know. It just felt like, okay, like I've really put myself in this position and like, it feels good because you work so hard and you're so consistent, right? You try and be consistent so that, in the first couple months, no one really wants to hear what you have to say. But if you're consistent about it, eventually people are going to understand that you take this thing seriously, right? Yeah. And that's when things change. That felt so good to know that like, okay, I've officially become that subject matter expert, right? And people trust me to give them sound advice. Like that's when stuff really started to change.
So I want to ask you this next question. It sounds great. We're all saying, and you got these inklings, you went for it and stuff. But did you ever experience some failures along the way, where you're like, I'm so passionate. You're like, what did you experience? What were some times where you're like, oh man.
Oh goodness, where do I begin? Yeah.
And then what did you learn from them? What was something you learned from them?
Still learning right now. Still learning today. You know, it was probably about last year. There were some goals that I had put out for myself, right? I said I want to do X, Y, and Z. I want to help this many people. I want to say that I went out there and I helped, 15 people do this, right? And I remember grinding. This was the time, like I wasn't sleeping, I was barely eating, but it wasn't like in an unhealthy way. It was just like I have this goal and I have to rip through everything to get to it. Like I wasn't letting anything stop me. I remember during that time, I had to actually travel overseas for work. And I remember being like, man, I got this goal and I really want to hit it, but I have to go overseas. I'm gonna be on a different timeline. Like, how am I gonna make this thing work? I said, you know what? I'm not gonna sleep. I'm just gonna go ham. I'm just gonna do it. And this is a goal that I had set for myself, but when you're going through it and you have that almost paranoia every day of like, you think about, okay, what if I don't hit it? And you start to doubt yourself a little bit. And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna keep going, right? So I just remember that being the best, worst time of my life, because I had done literally everything. Like when I tell you there was nothing more I could have done, I left everything on the table to make sure I hit my goal. I couldn't have done anything more. And I missed it. I missed my goal. I missed my target. I didn't end up doing what I said I was going to do for myself. And that hurt because I gave myself a deadline and I didn't hit it.
Right.
And that sucks because you get in your head and you say, okay, well, if I worked hard, I prayed for it, I went out and got what I prayed for.
Where is it?
Was relentless. Like, what happened? That was my bag and it got fumbled. And I'm like, I'm confused. Like, well, how? And you get frustrated. And I think for me, that failure has taught me a lot. And I'm still working through it, because for me, it's like when things like that happen, it's like, okay, well, what the heck am I doing here? Like, what am I doing? Like, if I put everything out and that wasn't enough, then Lord, what you want me to do?
Yeah. So many people have that question.
Exactly. And it's like, when you study and you prepare for the test and you do everything that you can, you stay up late and you end up failing. It's like, well, what the heck am I supposed to do? And it's taught me a lot, because it's like, you hear all these stories of, Braun and Kobe and Buffett and Jobs and everybody that is successful. A lot of what you hear is the great nights, the night they did $1 million in sales, the night that they sold X amount of product, the night that they went public. That's what you hear. Yeah. But you don't get to hear the months of failure behind it. You don't get to hear when they missed a promotion at work, or when they missed a deadline, or when they missed this and that. You don't really hear those stories. Exactly. Mm-hmm. You don't hear it. And for me, I'm like, okay, you know what? This is just going to be part of my story. Yes, this is going to be the part of the story that's not necessarily said out loud or said when I, hit my mark or do what I want to do, but it'll be that footnote in my book that I write. It'll be that turning moment when I'm giving a speech to a big crowd and it's supposed to be a motivational speech, but I have to get real with them and tell them about the time when I failed. Like, that's when it'll come to life. But until then, no one's gonna really care about it. But I have to know, and I take that into consideration as I move forward. Like, I move a lot different because of that failure. And I think that you can be so high in the sky, you can be doing this, you can be doing that. I said this quote the other day. I said, when people are doing well and they're very successful, it's very dangerous for them to sleep in the trophy room.
Yeah.
Right? Very dangerous for them to get super comfortable and think that they're doing this, that, and the other. And you have to be careful of that. But the other side of that is you also can't dwell on the past. You cannot dwell and stay in the room of failure, because there's no growth, there's no progression there. And so for me, it's really finding that middle piece and running with it. So I'm still learning. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we talk about, or you're saying, like, you can't let it beat you. You can't, sit in the trophy room, or even sit in that anguish, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what things do you do? Do you read? Do you, I know you said earlier you get in your devotionals. What
Yeah.
were your practices to help you kind of turn over and say, you know what, even though I stalled out, it's not going to keep me out?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it's a couple of different things. When I get in those spaces or those times in my life, a lot of what I need is self-isolation. Like I need reflection. And it's not forever. It's just, a few hours to myself, no phone on do not disturb. Like I am on my own, like, especially when it's stuff like that really sit with me.
Right.
I need that time to just think and be sad about it. Right. Just let my emotions cry, whatever I got to do. I'm a crybaby sometimes. I'm a Cancer.
Hey.
So, Cancers, we be crying like that. But I need that time to just get that out of me. Right. But I'm also the type of person where I have to be surrounded by good energy. Otherwise, I will stay in that dark room. And so for me, whether that is listening to, some of my favorite sermons on YouTube, listening to my favorite worship music, talking to a mentor of mine, talking to a best friend of mine, talking to my mom, like these are the things that I need to like kind of pick me back up, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that a counselor of mine had said is, okay, you failed during this one time, but do you remember when you did this? And do you remember when you did that? And do you remember when you accomplished this? Like having those people around you that are going to remind you of your successes in the past, it's so key and it's so vital, right? Because it's so hard. Like when you're in that moment, you just think about the failure. It just keeps coming back up. It's in your face all the time. And you don't remember all of the great things that you had been done to get you to where you're at. You forget, it's like it literally leaves your mind.
Yeah.
You forget about it. But when you have those people that can remind you, pick you back up, and you pick yourself up, unstoppable.
So you were talking about earlier, you were talking about a vision board and looking towards the future and stuff like that. What's some stuff that you have on your vision board? What's next? What's coming up?
So for me, okay, so I'll start, personal life. For me, I desire to be a wife. I desire to be a mom. Like those are some of the things I can't leave this earth without being a mom. I don't know what it is. I just feel like I'm meant to be a mom. I'm very excited for that. I have no leads. Don't ask me about it right now. That is something.
Hey, everyone out there on live, who knows?
Right. Dang, we just got like 10 more people on live.
Some more people just jumped on. So this is actually the matchmaking part of the show.
Yeah.
I'm done.
We're actually matchmakers, so here we go.
Oh my gosh. No, but I am enjoying this single season of mine. I gotta be focused on what I gotta do right now. So besides, being a mom and being a wife and all that great stuff that comes in the future, way in the future. Right now, I'm really just career focused. I'm focused on just stretching my vision. I'm trying to, read all the right books, surround myself with the right people so that in, 5 years, when I'm 30 plus, I'm set, right? My biggest thing is I've never needed to fully depend on anyone to get to where I'm at. So now that, and I was talking about how when I was a kid, I wasn't a dreamer. I didn't write stuff out. But now that I know all of this, I know to speak things into existence. I know to pray about things. I know that I'm capable. I know that I have confidence in myself. Imagine where I'm about to be at in 5 years. Just because I move different now. And it's just, I got a different vibe, like a different swagger about me. So that being the case, I just, in the next 5 years, I see myself like out here. Like I want to be that example for women who, maybe doing things on their own and like feel like, oh, I don't have this, so I can't do this. Like, no, girl, you can do it on yourself, like by yourself. You don't need anybody. You don't need anybody on your side to get to where you want to be at. Like it's you, like, and that's it. One of my favorite quotes by Will Smith, he's one of my favorite actors. He said it recently was, following your dream is a very lonely, dangerous, scary, solitude pursuit, right? You have to depend on you. You have to believe in you. And if other people want to hop on later, that's cool. But no one is going to believe in yourself the way that you do. So that has stuck with me. I'm about to get it plastered on this wall somewhere.
That's what you need. You need it right above your head.
Yes. But yeah, that's really stuck with me this whole time.
So I had a quick question.
Love it.
For right now, if someone's in that space, that negative space, because right now, we're social distancing, right? We can't get out anymore. We've been thrown as a country, as a world, into this new territory. What would be some advice for, those independent, strong women who just find themselves in a funk right now in this pandemic, and what they could be doing to get themselves out and then propel once this whole thing opens up?
Yes, that's a good one. So a couple of things. You need to be clear. You need to be clear about what you want. Right now, as horrific as these times are, it's also on, and this is just me, and thankfully, I haven't had to experience losing anyone, super close to me due to this pandemic, but I'm also just trying to be positive and think positive during these times. I am taking full advantage of this time of isolation, right? I have never had time to think about all the things that I want to do within a short, like, you know what I mean? Like you're home and you just have time to think. Like you don't have anywhere to be, you don't have to be sitting in traffic, paying it, like you have time to think. So you need to be clear, you need to write things out, right? I think for me, one thing that and again, this is just me, I'm currently in a series with my online church, and they're preaching about how you have to be okay and good and confident about the season that you're in, right? A lot of people try and skip steps. And trust me, I've been one of them. I try to move too quick, but I have to be comfortable with where I'm at, but I have to always be working towards where I want to be at, right? And so that's incorporating those daily habits. That's writing things out. That's listening to motivational, whatever works for you, right? It's different for everybody, but y'all have to be taking advantage of this time, right? If it's finances, you want to get your finances in order. First of all, I pray everyone is, because I don't know about y'all, but I'm not spending any money. I'm trying not to spend any money, at least, on extracurriculars or whatever it may be. And so surround yourself with people who can teach you about money, right? Hop on a call, FaceTime, whoever, like get connected with Daniel and Caitlin, like myself. We are in this space of wanting to share this information now that people are home and have the time to listen, right? If that is getting fit, Lord knows.
Ooh, we got time. We got time.
You have to put it in your calendar. You have to put it on your schedule, like schedule that 30-minute run, whatever it may be. Like y'all, like for the most part, we have no excuses right now. And so I encourage anybody who's going through this pandemic, which we all are, but y'all have got to flip and think about the positive side, because if you don't, you'll be consumed. Fun fact about me, I haven't watched the news in weeks. And that's just me, because I think that sometimes when I watch the news, I can get in this funk and I get paranoid, or I get anxious. And sometimes I don't need that. I don't need to be watching that all the time and it influence my day. And so, I get my live updates. I know what I need to know, but I'm surrounding my ears and my eyes with the positive. And that's how I'm getting through this time of isolation. So I encourage anybody to really, like, if no one has told you, and if you were waiting for a sign, this is the sign. Get your stuff together and take advantage of this time, really.
I'm sorry. No, you go ask a question.
Go ahead. We love to ask questions. We love hearing everything we're hearing right now. So Bukky, 10 years ago, what would you say to younger Bukky? Now that you know what you know.
I don't want to cry. Okay. I would tell younger Bukky that she is beautiful, that she is fierce. She is the strongest person that I know. And that she's got a lot of brightness in front of her. I would say that I would encourage her so much more to dream, like really think about where you want to be and where you see yourself. Because I think if I had dreamed a little bit more, my endless possibilities would have been a lot more, I guess, just wide open. You know what I mean? I would have been exposed to a lot more things earlier on. And I promise to do that for my children when I have them, but I would just encourage her to dream. Like, you literally can do anything you want to do. And I think that I wasn't I wasn't really told that physically a lot. And so
Right.
that's one thing I would tell, gosh, what is it? 17-year-old me?
Yep.
I don't like it.
Don't say it. Don't say the
I
age.
don't like it. I don't like it.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking some time
Yes.
from your busy day. You know, all the things you're doing today. You know, you had traffic that you were driving in earlier. No, but thank you for taking your time. I know, I
Yes.
appreciate it, even though I was the only male in here, but I feel the passion.
Yes.
It's all good. No, I really appreciate you guys having me on. This was fun. I'm really glad I was able to hop on and shoot with y'all. This was great.
No, this has been absolutely amazing. For those of you, this was Bukky Adesanya, or Adabacola. We call her
Don't use
Bukky.
my government name. Just put it all out there.
So her social security number is
No.
Ah!
So you guys, this is a strong, you know, Bukky, we so much appreciate it. A strong, independent, single. No, we're not gonna put it out there.
Trying to match you up,
Woman, who is so successful in the eyes of Daniel and I. We are so blessed to have her in our life. And we really do look up to her, like, for sure.
Y'all are too sweet.
So we appreciate your guys' time. Bukky, so what if someone wanted to talk to you a little bit more, they had more questions that they kind of want to ask you personally,
Yes.
how can they reach you?
Y'all can reach me at, so my name on Facebook is Bukky Adesanya. I'm tagged in this video, so go to Daniel's page. You can click on me there. On Instagram, you can find me at It's Books. That's at ITSBUKKS. And I look forward to connecting with everybody.
Yeah.
Find me.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and see you guys next time of What Are They Doing?
Yeah.